So for today's class, I'm going to try to do something a little bit differently. I'm going to try to conceptually show you what the chapter is about. And so in order for you to do this, I need you to also be really familiar with the chapter. I've included an outline for you guys to take a look at and for you guys to utilize so that you can feel free to get that information whenever you need. And you can look at that and sort of follow that through as I'm trying to talk about some of these ideas. So this is about the chapter Constructivist Learning Theory, Problem Solving, and Transfer, which are really three parallel ideas that move side by side. And so for the first part of the class, what I'm mostly going to do is try to discuss the Constructivist Learning Theory and the problem solving kind of side by side and parallel in their organization. At the end, I'll return back and discuss ideas of the transfer concepts. So in any case, I call this lecture Concepts Taught by Historical Example, a conceptual lecture in 5 scenes. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the objectives that I'm expecting for you to be able to do through this process of this lecture online as well as Monday in class. First of all, I want you to be able to identify examples of constructivist pedagogy. Hopefully what this will do by seeing it being done in practice is be able to identify it with times when instructors have effectively used constructivist pedagogy for you, and particularly within your disciplines of interest and your disciplines of learning. Second, I want to engage in scaffolded learning experience to corporately make meaning. That we are going to do this together, ultimately, rather than just thinking of this as me trying to give you information. And the third thing is I want you to critique me. I want you to critique my exercise, tell me whether it works or whether it doesn't, and to suggest possible alternatives for trying to get the same information across. So in order for us to understand really at the 10,000-foot level, I want to first of all give a kind of analogy of what constructivist learning is. It's based conceptually on the same ideas and concepts that we talked about with Vygotsky in one of the earlier chapters about the zone of learning that's just ahead of where the students are to help guide them in that particular direction. So I have here scaffolding immediately brought to mind ideas of construction for me. So I have here a little bit of a picture for you guys to see what I mean when I'm talking about scaffolded learning, when I'm talking about this whole constructivist process, as well as the problem solving skills that it helps facilitate. First of all, stands the teacher, or the teacher in this picture is actually not the primary purpose or primary point of this picture. The primary point of this picture is the building that's being constructed. The teacher, however, is the one who knows the ultimate direction that the building is going to happen. So the full understanding of where the class is going, what kinds of learning needs to be taking place, what kinds of problem-solving skills need to be developed, that needs to be firmly in the mind of the instructor. They need to know what the plan is going to be in order for the pupil to eventually be able to emulate, develop, and grow into those abilities. Then over here, the picture is really the stand-in for the student. The student is already coming in with prior knowledge. They already have part of their building constructed. One of the things I'm going to talk about in this class is how all knowledge initially is really formless and and chaotic and without any real clues for the student to be able to get it. However, by the time they're coming into our classroom, they're already coming in with some prior knowledge, and that's even if you were to teach at the earliest grades. So they're coming in with prior knowledge. That's where they're already coming from. The scaffolded understanding is where the instructor particularly is leading the student and offering certain aspects, certain qualities, certain constructs of understanding for the student to be able to add on to their prior knowledge in the already constructed elements. The final job will then be up to the teacher, up to the pupil. It's out of the teacher's hand at this point, which is to take that scaffolded knowledge and finally construct it into a full and finished product. Basically, our pupil as an adult functioning human being in our society.